In life, every man has twin obligations to his family, to his parents, to his wife and children, and he has an obligation to his people, his community, his country. Twin obligations means two types of duties a person has to perform, one towards his family and other towards his country and community. In a civil, and each man is able to fulfill those obligations according to his own inclination and abilities, according to the capacity and the willingness to perform his obligations or duties. A person does so in a civil and a human society. In normal situation, a person is free to serve the nation or the family as per his inclination, as per his natural tendency of behavior. But in a country like South Africa, it was almost impossible for a man of my birth and color to fulfill both of these. In South Africa, it was not possible for a person to serve the family as well as the nation. In South Africa, a man who attempted to live as a human being was punished and isolated. Any person who who made an attempt, who tried to live like a human being in South Africa, a black person who tried to live like a human being was punished and isolated, was made to live in isolation. Now, these days, you know very well what this isolation is. In South Africa, a man who tried to fulfill his duty to his people was inevitably ripped from his family and his home and was forced to live a life apart, a twilight existence of secrecy and rebellion. Any person who tried to fulfill his duty to his people, who tried to serve the nation, was unavoidably ripped from his family. He was set apart from his family and his home and was forced to live apart, away from them, in a secrecy, in rebellion. I did not in the beginning choose to place my people above my family. In attempting to serve my people, I found that I was prevented from fulfilling my obligation. I say I did not decide to serve the people, but as I tried to serve the people, what happened was that I was prevented from fulfilling my obligation as a son. That means his family obligations he was not able to perform once he tried to fulfill the obligations to the society. It was I was not born with a hunger to be free. When he was born, he was not hungry of freedom. I was free in every way that I could know. Free to run in the fields, a clear stream that ran through my village, free to roast mealies under the stars and ride the broad black backs of slow moving bulls. So, as a child, when he was born, he had all these freedoms. As long as I obeyed my father and abided by the customs of my tribe, I was not troubled by the laws of man or God. As long as I was obedient and I followed the tribe, nobody troubled me, neither human beings nor God. It was only when I learned that my boyhood freedom was an illusion. Then gradually I came to know that as a boy, the freedom that I enjoyed was an illusion. Illusion means was something that appears to be real but is not. It was not real, it was unreal. It was only when boyhood freedom illusion, when I discovered as a young man that my freedom had already been taken from me. As I grew, I realized that my freedom had already been taken away from me. that I began to hunger for it. As it was taken away, I had an urge to get it back. At first, as a student, I wanted freedom only for myself. As a student, I wanted freedom for myself, the type of freedom that the students want to have. The transitory freedoms of being able to stay and go where I chose. The temporary freedom, transitory means I can stay out at night and read what I wanted to. Then I felt that later, as a young man in Johannesburg, I yearned for the basic and honorable freedoms of achieving my potential, of earning my keep, of marrying and having a family. The freedom not to be obstructed in a law. Then it started. When I was in Johannesburg as a young man, I longed for the basic and honorable freedom. What is the basic and the honorable of achieving my potential? That whatever capacities I have, I should be getting opportunities to sharpen those capacities and abilities. If I earn, I should be able to keep what I earn. Then marrying and having a family. These are the things which I do in a lawful life. It should not be obstructed. I should be free to do all these things. There should be no obstacles in it. Not only was I not free, but my brothers and sisters were not free. That means that all were not free. I saw that it was not just my freedom that was curtailed. Curtailed means reduced. Not only my freedom was cut, but the freedom of everyone who looked like I did. He was black, and the freedom of all black people. That is when I joined the African National Congress. That is when the hunger for my own freedom became the greater hunger of my people. Now, after joining the African Congress, he says that the desire that I had for my own freedom, that became a desire for the freedom of all my people. It was this desire for the freedom of my people to live their lives with dignity and self was animated, highlighted, and it became active because the freedom of my people to live their lives with dignity. I wanted the people of my country to live a life with dignity and self respect. And in my attempt to do that, say, my life was animated. That transformed a frightened young man into a bold one. Earlier, I was a frightened young man, but I became bold. That drove a law abiding attorney to become a criminal. I was a person who always followed. I started breaking rules like a criminal. That turned a family loving. I loved to be with my family as a husband, but then as I struggled for freedom, I became a man without home. That forced a life loving man to live like a monk. I loved life. Instead of that, I started living like a monk who renounces life. I am no more virtuous or self sacrificing than the next man. I am no more virtuous, having good self sacrificing. He means to say that every man in my nation is worth a lot. But I found that I could not even enjoy the poor and limited freedoms I was allowed when I knew my people were not free. He says that I am virtuous, I am self sacrificing, but I am not more virtuous or self sacrificing than the other men. But one thing about me is there that when I found that my people were not getting freedom, I could not enjoy the poor and the limited freedoms that I got. Freedom is on any one of my people were the chains on my all of them. If one black man is suffering and is in slavery, then we all are in slavery. I knew that oppressors must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. Both the oppressor and the oppressed, the one who is suffering from slavery and the one who is harassing by slavery, both should be liberated, both should become free of it. A man who takes another freedom is a prisoner of hatred. One who is taking away the freedom of other people, he is in a prison. In what kind of a prison? He is in the prison of hatred. A man who he is locked behind the bars of prejudice and narrow mindedness. A person who tries to oppress other people, he is in the prison of prejudice. Prejudice is a strong dislike without any good reason, and narrow mindedness. I am not truly free if I am taking away, surely as I am not free when my freedom is taken from me. The oppressed and the oppressor alike are robbed of their humanity. The person who is being enslaved, he is also robbed, and the person who is, say, enslaving other people, he is also robbed of his humanity. So it's very simple to understand. To his family and the obligation to his nation. What did being free mean to Mandela as a boy? Now, as a boy, what he used to do, then as a student, what was his freedom? How does he contrast these transitory freedoms with the basic and honorable freedoms? These three terms are very specifically mentioned, that what meant liberty for him at different phases of life. Does Mandela think the oppressor why not? He says no, the oppressor as well as the oppressed both are not free. And what are they? Fine. Thank you.